I've been working on a commission for a small painting, and the only keywords I was given were sun, ocean and light. The size is 25 over 25 centimeters, so I decided I didn't need to make a preliminary oil sketch. The sketch and the finished painting would be the same. I'm working on 290 grams Canson paper, so no need to prime it. I taped the size of the painting, so if I remove the tape later on, I will have a white buffer zone isolating the painting from its surroundings, which makes it easier to see what I've actually done. I'm planning to work on a colored acrylic background, just like I did with a series of moon paintings. This time I'm going to work on a background of light phthalo blue mixed with a little cobalt blue. Before applying the first coat of oil paint, I cut a thin strip of masking tape to cover the horizon. The height of the horizon is so decisive in a painting that I like to record it in an early stage. The first layer of oil paint is a mix of King's Blue Light and Scheveningen Blue. More to the right, where the sun is shining outside the picture frame, I'm adding more titanium white. More towards the horizon, I'm mixing brilliant yellow and vermilion red, with a pinch of the blue I mixed for the sky. In a later stage, I want the clouds to sort of rise from the horizon. I'm extending the color below the horizon to unify sky and ocean. To darken the ocean towards the bottom of the painting, I'm adding indigo blue to the sky mix. For some reason, removing the tape is always fun. You can never be sure what is underneath it. With a mix of titanium white and brilliant yellow, I lighten the right side of the sky to emphasize even more that the light is coming from that direction. With the stipple brush I spread the paint evenly to create a smooth transition to the blue of the sky. I added a bit of violet grey and vermilion red to paint the surface just above the horizon, where the color of the sky often becomes slightly darker. The wet paint surface will make it easier to paint the clouds, because they'll flow smoothly into the lighter color. The color for the clouds I'm using here is a mix of brilliant yellow, violet gray and indigo blue. I kept it fairly light as a starting point for the darker parts of the cloud, which I get by adding indigo blue to the mix. Because I did the clouds wet on wet, it's quite easy to create smooth transitions with my fan brush. This is a backlight situation, which means we're looking in the direction of the light source. Consequently, the clouds will have silver linings. I'm again using a mix of brilliant yellow and titanium white. If you don't have a rag yet, you should get one quick. A used t-shirt is perfect. It's becoming a bit of a habit for me, removing unnecessary parts of the image. Why don't I do that right away? The answer is that I don't see it until it's right in front of me. My imagination seems to be lacking in cases like this. Clouds in backlight can sometimes stand out sharply against the sky, but sometimes they can be more blurred and kind of loom out of the background, in particular just above the horizon. This creates a soft, hazy image, and that's what I'm after. By applying this thin layer of brilliant yellow and titanium white, I'm laying the groundwork for the clouds. On closer inspection, I think the horizon is too high, so it has to go down. I admit, it's a bit of an unusual combination, oil paint and a ruler, but it's pretty handy. Be sure to clean your ruler afterwards. Of course, I'm now stuck with the previous horizon that still shines through the fresh coat of paint, but I'll solve that once this layer is dry. Because I'm curious what the painting looks like with a clean white border around it, I remove the tape and watch and learn. This is what happens when you don't follow your own advice. The top layer of the paper remains attached to the tape and takes the paint with it. So, the lesson is only use tape on a layer of gesso, the Royal Talents primer, or on a dry coat of paint. Or, another possibility, control your curiosity. Fortunately, the edge I peeled off isn't very wide, and I can easily cut it off, so the painting isn't lost, just half a centimeter smaller. Okay, the previous layer is dry, so now I can try to get rid of the old horizon. Brilliant yellow, purple grey and titanium white. That's better. If necessary, I can camouflage the horizon with a vague row of clouds. The sun shining through the clouds often results in a beautiful alternation of light and dark patches on the water. You can use them to steer the viewer's gaze into the distance. Seen from afar, it sometimes looks as if those planes are dead straight, hence the ruler again. Ruining the paper also resulted in losing my passepartout, so I put together a replacement. A wise man once said, "If it can't be done the way it should be, then it should be done the way it can." I'm sticking to that. I feel like the cloud on the right is blocking the view, so it has to go. Gradually a calmer and more spacious image emerges. The funny thing is that eventually another cloud appears, but this one actually helps to create space, because it's lower and a lot vaguer. Also, the bluish color enhances atmospheric perspective, which dictates the further away, the bluer. I'm using the color shaper to do the sparkles on the water. I explained its use in an earlier video, but forgotten which one, and I'm too lazy to look it up. It works great, provided you added a fair amount of medium. Using transparent white and a little vermilion red, I apply another transparent layer. On the one hand, to soften the sky even more, and on the other to widen the color range a bit. By darkening the sea in the foreground, I increase the sense of space. I use indigo blue and umber green, strongly diluted with liquid, which allows the bottom layer to remain perfectly visible. In just a few strokes you can create a shadow without losing the underlying details. Tribute to Jan van Eyck, the Flemish painter who first used the technique more than 500 years ago. Chapeau, Jan. I often wonder about the amount of detail I should use in a painting. Sometimes I tend to overdo it. For me, the important thing is to keep an eye on whether they still fit into the overall picture. The moment they're isolated and don't blend in, you've gone too far. That's why I'll stop here. Finished.